what we do know is Indiana still has a shot, and so does Penn State after they survived a win against Minnesota 26-25. And I mean, and then there's really two ways you can look at this. On one side, it's kind of like, okay, here we go again. Each time we look at Penn State and we look at them playing an inferior opponent, and when I say inferior, I'm looking at Penn State's ranked fourth. Penn State is, one of the top three or four teams in the Big Ten. Minnesota's in the middle of the pack. Minnesota's had some struggles this year. Obviously, we know about that first game they played against us where if they had a field goal kicker, they beat us. So
and if the refs called the onside kick correctly, they beat us. So
well,
realistically, they could be 8-3.
Right. So Minnesota is definitely no slouch, but again, Penn State, it takes everything they have to get down to the wire to get it, but they're still alive. Alex, there's still a shot that Penn State could somehow end up in that Big Ten championship, man. But even if they do, I mean, how confident are we in Penn State?
I'm not confident. When Penn State plays to their peak, they could play with anybody in the country. But you never know when you're going to get that peak play or when you're going to get surviving against Minnesota, surviving against USC, surviving against UCLA for that matter. It took everything they had to beat them, surviving against Bowling Green. And then you've got the team that went toe-to-toe with Ohio State. So it's like, which version of Penn State are we going to get week to week? You've got all the talent in the world. You've got Drew Aller. You've got Katron Allen and Nick Singleton is arguably the best running back duo in the country. They're top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
You've got Abdul Carter and those guys defensively. Tyler Warren's one of the better tight ends in all of college football. And you've got all those pieces, and yet you still struggle to beat teams that are far below your level. It's very confusing. I don't know if it's a James Franklin issue. I think it is because it's the common denominator year after year after year.
Yeah.
All the players change, coordinators change. He's the deciding factor, the one that's still there year after year after year. But yeah, they got to figure something out.
Yeah, they honestly do because and I hate to say that, but I think it is James Franklin. Like he is the common denominator, like you said, and it just seems like yes, they sometimes play up. I mean, those Ohio State Penn State games are never really blowouts. It's always something really close, and we know a couple years back he was able to get the W, but it's just never able to get over that hump. It's almost like a Buffalo when it comes to Kansas City. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Even though they might randomly win one, a la what Buffalo did recently, but we all know once it comes to the playoffs, once it comes to the games that actually matter, Penn State just always seems to fall short, especially when it comes to the Big Ten. So, hey, they have a chance, yes, but they're going to have to play a lot better than they have been playing, and if they want to beat an Oregon team. So we'll definitely see. They're still in the picture.